Try to make their life happy for them. Try to make them feel like they were no different than any other child, even though it was just mom.
So, my turn.
Yes.
Bree.
Well, I found out.
Why are you extremely loud?
Yes, we're just talking.
I want y'all to know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be me regardless.
Yes, be you.
Okay. So I found out when I was 5 months pregnant.
How did you go all this time without?
It was. I guess it's because my mind was focused on other things. I was always doing stuff. So and at my school, and I was work studying.
Mom was like, no.
No, I'm just like I don't know how.
And I had my cycle every month, so I didn't really.
Oh, you still had yours.
Right.
Okay, yeah, mine just like stopped immediately. Yeah. And then I put on gain weight immediately too. So I'm like, oh.
And I was going to the gym and stuff like that. So I was thinking, no, I'm just gaining some weight, so I just need to get in the gym. Because I wasn't playing any sports or anything. I was going to school. So that's where my mind frame was. But there was one day where I got really, really sick, and I went to the doctor, and she was like, well, you're 5 months pregnant. And I was like, no, I'm not. And she's like, yes, you are. And so I immediately went to my mother because Kyla and Micah are 2 days apart. So their conception was 2 days apart. Didn't know that. And so obviously she told me the due date of Micah. And so my mind frame went immediately to my mother because my sister already told my mom that she was pregnant and stuff like that, and I had to be the one to tell her. I did not, and this was my mind frame before, when the enemy just started sleeping in saying, well, you don't need to have him. You can abort him. You're not really with the father. You don't really talk to the father. All these things. So I had a plan. I was like, I'm not gonna get this baby, yada yada yada. I even thought about adoption and stuff like that. I already knew who was gonna take care of the child. I already knew this, so I can still be in the child's life, but still not be the child's parent. Mm-hmm. So it took a lot of prayer and a lot of laying on my face, even that's like really. I was like 19. So I really had to trust God in this process. I didn't know if he was a boy or if he was a girl. I didn't know that. And then when I found out he was a boy, I was like, I thought it was a girl, but I'm gonna have a son. And so I remember I was in my apartment closet. It was on a Sunday. I was getting ready for church. And I was playing the Commission album. And I forgot what song it was, but I just immediately just fell on the floor and started crying because I said, God, this is not what I wanted for me. This is not, and I know you knew the plans beforehand, but this is not what I wanted for me. I'm not with the Father. I don't even talk to the Father. I don't want to even have a relationship at all with the Father. It was a lot of emotions that probably I would say 2 years of Micah's life. It was like 2 years, and I had a lot of emotions to deal with. So I remember laying on my face and God just saying that you have to trust me in this process. You have to trust me in this process. So I did let the Father know. It didn't go well. He didn't think it was his. He's like, well, you were hanging out with multiple people, and I'm like, don't label me like that because I know who I sleep with. This ain't the Maury show, okay? I know who I sleep with, okay? And so I let him know, but I reached out to his mother, and she's just like, for some reason, I believe this is his child. And so I'm like, believe me. So he wasn't there for his birth. He said he was going to be there. He wasn't there. He met Micah 1 month after he was born, and he came down with his family, and they met him. And first thing his little brother said, "Oh my gosh, he looks just like you." And he did. He did. He came out looking just like him. And I think that was because he needed to know, like, I'm not lying to you. Like, this is your child. I'm not going to be messy about this. I know who my son's father is. And so time goes on. Michael was more on me in a case, because Michael was just like, "Oh, okay." He didn't really talk about a dad. He didn't really. He was just like, "Oh, okay." Like, he was just
very content.
He was a very content child. Like, his mind was always somewhere else. He wasn't emotional or anything like that.
He was being tired.
Coming like, "Oh, I need a mom and a dad."
Right.
Like, no. And he was young, so he never asked. I didn't have to express saying, "This is where your dad is," and yada yada yada. I had amazing friends, male friends, that took the role to show Micah, "Hey, you don't do that," because I can't teach him male tendencies.
Right.
I can only be the mother to him. I can't be the father to him.
Exactly.
You cannot. And I don't like when people say I'm the mother and the father. No. You were the mother. And that you cannot. You don't mix the two. I was the mother. I could not be the father.
Exactly.
So I had a lot of male friends that I asked, and they took the role. And I think I am most grateful for that to this day, for them for that, and for being there. When Michael wanted to, get on the phone and call people, they were like, they wanted to talk to him. They wanted to say, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" They sent him stuff. They made sure, just because we weren't in the same state, they were still there.
Right.
And that I'm honestly, I know that was God, because he did not. Michael was loved. Micah and Kylan were both loved unconditionally by people, and still loved by people. And so when as he started to grow up, his dad would come in and out, but I had to voice to him when he wanted to take him for the summer, and because his mom was consistently there.
Right.
So he already knew he had another family. But when I voiced to him, I said, "Listen, whether you want to be there or not, I'm not going to hound you. I'm not going to say you this, you that. I'm not that type of person. But whether you want to be there or not, Micah is going to be taken care of regardless."
Yeah.
Regardless. Because I know what God promised me when I was in my closet, on my ground, on the floor crying. I know what he told me. So, and he would just look at me like, "Well, that's messed up." No, it's not messed up. I'm telling you, he's going to be taken care of regardless, whether you are there or not. And he's going to have a male mentor that's going to show him the ropes, whether you're there or not. You can be there and he can still have that mentor, or you don't have to be there and he can still have that mentor. So pretty much I left the ball in his court. Yes, it took a while for me to forgive him, because that's one thing I had unforgiveness for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And when I made the decision that I had to forgive him, not only for my sake, but for Micah's, because he should know, once everyone is able to come together, that it is not any tension. I never wanted tension. For when he graduates from high school and you have your whole family there. You don't want your one family sitting on one side and the other family sitting on the other side, and we're not talking to each other. I never wanted that.
And we had to take these separate pictures.
Right.
Because I don't want to be in a picture with you.
Right. I never wanted that for him. And so when it took a lot of, once I forgave him, once I started speaking life into his dad without even talking to him directly, I was like, "God bless him. give him what he needs. You know, supply. So what is the word? Not supply, but meet all his needs. Like make sure he doesn't lack for nothing, so he can give that to his son.
Right.
Yes, the overflow. And it took a lot of patience. It took a lot of patience. Oh my God, he don't even call him. God, he don't even send him a birthday gift. God, how come his mom does this but he don't want to do that? God, his little brother is doing all this stuff but he won't. It was like God was probably like, Brianna, you should just be quiet because you're not trusting me like how I told you. And as years went on, and it's a lot better now. He is one thing I can commend his father on was taking the responsibility that he's my child and I need to take care of him. Whether who is there or not, I need to take care of him because I brought him in here. I helped bring him to this world. And he had a person, and I'm pretty sure, and this is just me saying, I'm pretty sure he had someone talk to him about saying, why wouldn't you want to be in your son's life? Why not? No one's taking anything away from you. She's not taking you away from your son. We're just waiting for you to be there. Wow. So, and I think that's when we had our come to Jesus moment on my grandma's porch. He was just like, I thank you because you didn't hassle me or anything about, child support or anything like that because I didn't. I was like, he's gonna be taken care of. That's where a whole budget system is. I can take care of him. Okay? So he knew those. He respected that and he was like, well, I thank you because now I see what you were talking about and I am wrong. It kind of like he had a step back and was like, dang, she was right.
Right.
And it's not saying, I told you. No, I'm glad that you were able to see it because I didn't know when you were going to see it. Exactly. That's why I had to be patient. I didn't know when he was going to God. Right. For Micah to have that, his biological dad. Now that I'm married and I dated with the child, my husband knew it was a package deal. Mm-hmm. You want to date me? Okay, cool. You dated my son too. Mm-hmm. Because you're not going to just give me all this attention and he on the sideline. Mm-hmm. Right. It's not like that. And he also had people talk to him about that saying, oh, you want to talk to Brie? Okay. You need to talk to her son too. Mm-hmm. And Michael gravitated his dad immediately. He'll never pick who's the favorite parent is. It's either me or my husband. He'll never tell you. Who like both of you. He'll never tell you. But his biological father knows that's the man that took your responsibility. You came after. So you're not going to disrespect him. Right. And you're not going to change the mindset in Michael's mind about him because that's not his biological father. Because at one point he did, and I heard him saying, well, that's not your dad. Let me have the phone, Michael. Let's not. Let me have the phone. And I said, you're not going to say, well, he's not your dad. Because that is his dad. Because when you weren't there, he was there. When he had scrapes on his leg and stuff, he fixed it up. You weren't there. So you have to put yourself in your place. Step back just a little bit. Don't disrespect the man that is there for our son.
I remember distinctly from the video that you and Leo did together before you guys got married. Now this is the part that always sticks out to me when we're asking him the question about dating a mom with a child. Obviously, if you're a mom with a child, but
dating a woman with a child.
Yes. How he felt about embracing that role of father. And he was like, I am his father. Like, there's no, I'm a father figure. I'm his father. Mm-hmm. And it takes a lot for somebody to really step up into a role of you were not part of creating this child, but I'm stepping in. It's not like, oh, this is my step kid. This is my kid.
Right.
It doesn't matter how they got into this earth. They belong to me just as much as any other child that I have now. And I can definitely see that because now you guys have a biological child together as well. And there's no difference, no variation.
Right. You cannot tell the difference at all.
And I appreciate you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I prayed when I prayed for my husband, I said, I want my son to be welcomed into his family like his own.
Yeah.
And I got what I prayed for because he is spoiled from his Louisiana family, and they love him just as much as they love his brother. There's no difference. You don't see, okay, well, that's not his son, but that one is. That's her son. No, there's no difference, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of was like, what are they doing? But I love that, and Leo is a great father to Micah, and I couldn't ask for anyone else to impart the manly things, the man of God wisdom. That's even a whole category.
Yeah.
Into him like Leo has, because honestly, Leo is the person that bridged with me and his biological father. Mm-hmm. I had to understand it from a man's perspective because I didn't have it from a man's perspective. Mm-hmm. I couldn't call my dad and say, hey, how do I make this work? Because obviously, as you can tell, it didn't work with my mother because you weren't there. So you can't say, okay, he needs to do this. No, you can't give his biological father advice because you weren't there either. So you can't tell somebody what to do when you haven't experienced it with your own kids. Mm-hmm. So he definitely gave me some shut up moments. Like, first of all, you're supposed to be on my side, and you're supposed to be by my feelings and stuff like that. And he's just like, no, Bree, you're wrong. No, Bree, that is wrong. You should tell him this. No, Bree, yada yada yada. And I didn't want to tell him he was right. So I don't understand he was right, but inside he was right, and that actually opened up the communication, saying, "Hey, this is what's going on." Okay. To Micah being 9 years old, we're able to communicate more. Yes, there's times where he still doesn't call Micah when Micah has to initiate. But Micah, he doesn't call people, so he's like, well, son, why don't you call me? Well, Micah's like, okay. Micah doesn't call people. He's on me, so he doesn't really call people. He still talk to you when he's ready to talk to you, but he don't give him a schedule because he's not going to be back. He's not going to call.
Jeremiah, like, I have to make him, I'm like, did you call your grandma?
Yeah.
And then he'll send her a text. I'm like, no, call her.
That's Micah. So he has to initiate it. I'm praying on that part because I don't understand why he doesn't. That's one thing that's really confusing. His mom will text me and say, hey, can you have Micah call me? And his dad will be sitting right there and has the phone. I don't get it. So that's one thing that I'm praying for, get some clarification. But other than that, he's providing for Micah financially. Anything he needs outside of what he's already getting for child support, he's willing to give him. And him and Leo, I think he has an understanding that Leo is at the level he's at because he's been there, and he's at the level he's at because of how long he's been there. So I think he has that understanding as well. So, yeah.
So, in the aspect of co-parenting, that's extremely interesting that your husband is able to help you to co-parent with the father of your child.
And communicate with them. They actually text.
Oh, they actually text each other. Now, that is a whole other level. You don't hear that often.
You
That's really good.
Right.
And that he can respect, that he is in his life, and vice versa. So sometimes men, even if they, and women probably do it too. Actually, women do it because I remember when I first came into my stepson's life, his mom did not want him calling me mom or anything. She didn't want him to have anything to do with me. And I prayed and I was like, okay, God, one, I didn't want to be a stepmom in the first place. Because, I did have that double standard, but then I changed it because I was like, well, Jesus, obviously I got some kids, I can't be acting like that. But it wasn't that I didn't want the kids, I just didn't want the baby mama drama.
Right.
So I was like, Jesus, this is why I told you that I didn't want to deal with this stuff. And so I agreed. So I ended up, I'm like, Lord, how do I deal with this? And the Lord told me specifically what to do, what to say to her, and I wrote her a letter. The next thing I know, she saw me and she was just like, we were like best friends and everything, and I'm the mom now, I'm the other mom. So got mom one and mom two. But it's amazing because sometimes men, they may not want to be in that role as a father, but they don't want anybody else to step in that role because they're territorial. Like, this is my family, she was my woman first, these are my kids, but I'm not going to do it, but I don't want anybody else to step in this role either. So I'm glad that they were able to communicate and work those things out.
Right.
And then even with Kylan, having Micah, so they have brother-cousin type of relationship because they're so close. So then he has Leo there for him as well. That's amazing that he's able to have that relationship. And I think, because when you talked about him recognizing, him wanting a dad and a sibling, him being able to see that Micah has that, he can acknowledge that it doesn't have to be my biological dad, but somebody will be there who's going to love my mom and who's going to love me the way that I'm supposed to.
Have a bigger family.
Exactly. So is there anything that you guys would share with single moms and in closing that you think will be the most beneficial thing to help them through this time in their life? Oh, you're trying to I take it.
Oh, I mean, really, I guess, as a single mother who is still doing it as a single parent, I mean, they're
Doing it. That's a different song. Never mind.
And we gonna take it at a different time.
There are gonna be days where you want to cry. Let it out. Don't try and hold on to those feelings because those feelings could turn into resentment towards, the other parent. And you don't want that because that's not good energy to have for your children or for your child because they can pick up on that. Children are very good at discerning spirits and energy. So you don't want to bring that around, whether or not you have a good relationship or not.
Yeah.
Amen. You look good. I like it. See? Oh, I was like, where you going? Yeah, right. But like I said, children can pick up on those things, and they know when there's tension. You can't say, oh, they're just being children are just being children. Yes, children are just being children, but don't take away, but don't discount their discernment because they know. They can pick up on things. They pick up on things very quickly. So, I mean, for those single mothers or for those single fathers, just try and keep that communication between, each other and keep it civilized because whether or not it works out between you and that other parent, at the end of the day, you and this other person created another life. So that should be the focal point at the end of the day. The child or children should be the focal point. It's not about your feelings about the other person or vice versa. Keep those feelings out of sight from the child because they didn't do this. They didn't do any of this. They just came into this. Right. So don't give children adult responsibilities. Don't let them be children. They should not have to deal with parents' baggage. That's not their burden to carry. Yeah, that's not their burden to carry, exactly. And yeah, that's what I have to say. Another segment right now. Sorry. Girl, good thing. Yeah. I want to do one where I have, where I talk to kids, but it needs to be like older kids, like teens. What I would like to say is always be kind to your kids, no matter what situation, if they're in. Always speak life to your kids. Even though my daughters did have, their sons, I still spoke life into them. And there was times where there had to be correction and things like that, of course. But at the same time, I still spoke life into them. That's why they are who they are today. And so just remember that. And when they are small children, as they were, I always spoke life to them. And like I said, I always had them to have their own focus. I always make sure that they have their own focus. And like she said, children should not have adult responsibilities. So let them have their own focus, see what they like to do, and then encourage them in that. So I always encourage them. She was my basketball, she was my track. Encourage them to just, persevere in the things that they like to do so they can have their focus and not their focus. What is mom doing? Why, can she pay this bill? Can she do this? That's not their focus. None of that is their focus. That is what I have to take care of. They just need to be children. Right. And that's what I made sure of, as they were growing up, to make sure that they were children at all times. And just pray and spiritual. Pray and just keep, just believing and trusting God. And God will take you through it. He has taken us through a lot of things that they don't even know, because like she said, they don't need the adult baggage. I never voiced that, but we went through it together, and even though they didn't know what we were going through, we all went through it together. So, not, like I'm saying, that I gave them, tell them this, no, but they were going through it when they didn't know that they were going through it. That's what I'm trying to say. So, and just trust God in the process, because He has turned this around. He has turned this everything that we went through, and over 20 years now, 10 years with them, but just from the time that they were 4 and 2. So it's been over 20 years. God has been faithful in this union. He has been faithful. So I just wanted to I can attest to that. Amen. Listen, not so much after I had Stefan, because I was married at the time, so it was a little different. And then I went through divorce, and I was like, what the heck? Not what I didn't want to be a single mom. But when I found out I was pregnant with Jeremiah, I was like, God, listen, I thought about having an abortion, and then He was like, I will take care of you. Why is your husband not feeding my baby? He's fine. But after I had Jeremiah, I thought about having an abortion and stuff, and God was like, I will take care of all of you guys. Time and time again, He made sure everything was taken care of, and we didn't lack for anything. So there are things that, I have conversations with Jeremiah about now. I'm like, listen, God has always provided for us. He's always provided for you. Right. You've been, taking care of, even when your dad was not doing what he should have been doing, you've always been taken care of. So I don't ever want you to feel like, because he feels like he has to be responsible, he wants to say, I can help you pay for stuff. And I'm like, it's never been your job to help you pay for stuff. Because God takes care of all of our stuff for us. And because He likes to go out and make His own money. So you go sweep people's porches and take out their trash and make money. And I'm like, you keep your money. I'll teach you how to invest it and save it and stuff, but you don't need to get money to help me with anything. Right. And that's the truth. And so, even with your testimony with ours, He took care of us, and then He took care of us. Yeah, all of us.
you know, even at the time,
Still doing.
yeah, and he's still doing it today, yeah. And then we had it, right, Leo and now Brady, and we're all being taken care of. He said that he would do it, and he's still showing himself faithful. We do not lack for nothing. We have never lacked for anything. Through any of the situations that we have been through, we have not lacked for anything.
One thing I can say is not take your time, but make sure you're spending time in the Word to build you up so you can evaluate yourself on what you need to fix. Instead of you pointing fingers and saying, well, they need to fix them, they need to do this, they need to parent like this, they need to parent like that. It's not your job.
Right.
It's not your job.
Mind your business.
Right. Drink your water, moisturize your edges, and mind your business. Thank you, Sarah Jakes Roberts.
My today was actually about minding your business.
So, you have to, because
right.
that's just not with just single parent, or that's just in a whole. Make sure you are evaluating yourself and looking in the mirror and saying, what do I need to correct in me in order to be a blessing to somebody else?
Right.
Don't ever think that you have it all together, because you don't. You have things to work on.
Yeah.
And we are not perfect. The only person that was perfect was God. And that is it. You do not, and that also creates the path and the plan and the purpose that God has for you, because you constantly evaluate yourself and you're judging yourself. So you can see, God, what do I need to do? What do I need to fix in this area to continue that plan and purpose? Because if you don't evaluate yourself, how are you gonna continue on the course He has for you? Right. You won't. You can't do it. So that's one thing that I want to give to anyone, even single fathers, single mothers, married couples, single people. Evaluate yourself. Spend time in the Word, so you can fix those things before He comes and He can say, well done, good things. Yeah. And on that note, thank you guys for tuning in today. We love you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Yes, go get my baby.